Based on a true crime case, this movie will chill you to the core. The villain in this film is a master of dismemberment and murder techniques so disturbing that even hardened viewers find them grotesque. This is a crime thriller that was banned in South Korea for its extreme content so twisted, even the most deranged are left shocked. The director had to cut scenes 3 times to pass censorship, but even that couldn't save it from being pulled from theaters. The graphic violence and psychotic methods of killing left 25 million women in Korea horrified. The scenes of dismemberment are so realistic, they've terrified countless viewers. If you have a weak stomach, avoid watching the original version. The film opens with a heart-pounding scene of a body being discarded. A boy discovers a plastic bag in the grass by the river, and when he opens it, he finds half of a human ear. Frozen with fear, he trembles in shock. The police mobilize in full force, sweeping the area, and soon they discover the victim's head in the cold river. The victim is identified as Juian, the daughter of a former homicide squad leader. Her fiancé works for the National Intelligence Service. Who could possibly be twisted enough to murder Juian, especially when she's about to get married? Flashback to the days leading up to the crime. Juian's car breaks down on the side of the road. She calls her fiancé, Juian, to let him know, but he's on a mission and tells her to call for roadside assistance instead. That's when a middle-aged man suddenly appears. He asks if she needs help, but Juian declines, saying she already called a tow truck. The man hesitates for a moment, then flashes a creepy smile before returning to his car. Juian notices he's driving a school bus but doesn't seem to be leaving. Instinctively, she turns on her high beams. The next thing she knows, the man drags her unconscious body from the car, leaving behind a vehicle covered in blood. Juian wakes up in an unfamiliar place. She begs the man to spare her, revealing she's pregnant. He hesitates for a moment, then raises a machete. What follows is a shocking, stomach-churning scene as the dismemberment unfolds. During the grisly process, Juian's engagement ring rolls across the floor. The man glances at it but doesn't notice. After finishing his gruesome work, he washes the blood from the scene. The ring, carried by the water, vanishes into the drain. What makes this crime even more baffling is that there's no clear motive. Human life means nothing to the killer. To him, it's as insignificant as an insect. At Juian's funeral, Juian silently swears to make the killer pay 100 times over. Using his position, Juian manages to get his hands on a tracking capsule from a colleague and obtains a list of the prime suspects most likely responsible for Juian's death from her father. For suspects have all been linked to similar crimes in the past. Under the cover of night, Juian sneaks into the first suspect's home. The man is quickly subdued. Holding up photos of the crime scene, Juian demands answers, but the man denies any involvement. Turning his back, Juian grabs a weapon and strikes the man. The next day, Juian zeroes in on the second suspect. He floors the gas pedal and crashes straight into him. Pulling out a photo to confirm the man's identity, Juian prepares for the next move. The third suspect is revealed to be Jang Kyung-chul, the sadistic murderer who killed Juian. Meanwhile, Jang Kyung-chul sets his sights on another potential victim. He offers a ride to a woman, claiming it's on his way. At first, she politely declines, but seeing the empty streets and realizing he's driving a school bus, she lowers her guard. On the road, Jang Kyung-chul pulls over to the side and takes out a metal pipe. The woman looks at him in confusion. Back at Jang Kyung-chul's place, he uses a cleaver to end her life. Meanwhile, Juian has already arrived at Jang Kyung-chul's house, but it's Jang Kyung-chul's mother who answers the door. Lying, Juian says he's an insurance agent, trying to gather information about Jang Kyung-chul's whereabouts, but his parents have no idea where he is, leading to an argument between them. Finally, it's Jang Kyung-chul's son who reveals the address. Juian arrives at Jang Kyung-chul's residence. Following the address, after a thorough search, he finds a locked cabinet. Breaking it open, he discovers it is filled with women's lingerie. It seems Jang Kyung-chul is not just a killer but also a twisted pervert. At that moment, The door behind him creaks open. Soo-hyun cautiously steps forward to investigate. This is the very place where Jang Kyung-chul had dismembered his victims. Soo-hyun finds his fiancée's ring in the drain, confirming that Jang Kyung-chul is indeed the murderer of Juian. Meanwhile, Jang Kyung-chul has set his sights on a new victim, another young girl. He's unaware that his school bus has already been fitted with a tracking device. This time, he's changed the crime scene. He leads the kidnapped girl into a greenhouse, ready to carry out his crime, but he hears a noise from outside. On high alert, Jang Kyung-chul grabs a weapon to defend himself. The person entering the greenhouse is none other than Soo-hyun. Jang Kyung-chul sizes him up, clearly not taking him seriously, but as he stares at the man who killed his wife, Soo-hyun's eyes are filled with deadly intent. A fierce confrontation is inevitable. Soo-hyun isn't one to be underestimated. In just a few minutes, Jang Kyung-chul is left completely defenseless. The satisfaction of watching this villain get what he deserves is beyond words. Soo-hyun's goal isn't just to kill Jang Kyung-chul, he wants him to suffer. So, he forces a tracking capsule into his mouth before leaving. Before he goes, Soo-hyun even reimburses Jang Kyung-chul for his medical expenses. When Jang Kyung-chul wakes up and leaves the greenhouse, Soo-hyun's phone not only shows his location but also picks up Jang Kyung-chul's voice. On the dimly lit street, Jang Kyung-chul hails a taxi. With his sharp eye, he notices the ID badge doesn't match the driver. It's clear the car has been stolen. Confronted by two petty thieves, Jang Kyung-chul removes his hat and pulls a gleaming knife from his boot. Before leaving, he opens the trunk and finds a soccer jersey, casually taking the handbag as well. The next day, Jang Kyung-chul visits a clinic. The doctor simply asks about his injuries, but Jang Kyung-chul insults him in return. Just as he's about to teach the old man a lesson, the door bursts open and a nurse walks in, interrupting him. Seeing the nurse's innocent face, Jang Kyung-chul's thoughts take a dark turn. Later, when the nurse enters the storage room, she feels a cold chill behind her. Jang Kyung-chul is already waiting. He threatens her to strip. Faced with the terrifying man, the nurse can only cry and beg for mercy. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun, who's been listening to their conversation, tracks the location and arrives at the clinic's storage room. With a fire extinguisher in hand, Soo-hyun knocks Jang Kyung-chul to the ground. As the nurse tries to leave, Soo-hyun quickly stops her. Soo-hyun then uses a scalpel to sever Jang Kyung-chul's ankle. Jang Kyung-chul is then dumped in a parking lot, left to suffer. What Soo-hyun never expected was that, instead of being humbled by the humiliation, Jang Kyung-chul's twisted nature was only fueled further, awakening a darker side within him.
뭡니까?
With nowhere else to go, Jang Kyung-chul visits an old friend, another twisted, bloodthirsty killer. Once again, Soo-hyun tracks Jang Kyung-chul's location, listening in as the two mock him. After dinner, Tae-ju starts preparing breakfast for the next day, while Jang Kyung-chul eyes the woman with sinister intentions. By now, Soo-hyun has already pinpointed their whereabouts. Just as Tae-ju is about to make his move, Soo-hyun arrives in time. Having vented his frustration, Jang Kyung-chul was about to sleep, but he sensed something was wrong. During their fight, Tae-ju's wrist is brutally twisted, and Soo-hyun drives a tack through his palm, pinning him to the table. Within moments, Tae-ju is fully subdued. Just as Soo-hyun is about to strike, Jang Kyung-chul intervenes, stopping him. With no weapon, Soo-hyun tries to evade the attack. Using his physical agility, Soo-hyun leaps to the second floor. As Tae-ju tries to pull out the tack, Soo-hyun finds a weapon on the second floor, only to be ambushed by Tae-ju. Soo-hyun suddenly spots Jang Kyung-chul on the second floor, holding a hunting rifle. In a flash, Soo-hyun scatters fishhooks across the hallway. setting a trap. It's only when the steel pipe begins to bend that Soo-hyun stops his assault. The next day, the chief of the Major Crimes Unit learns of the situation. He hopes that Squad Chief Jang can persuade Soo-hyun to give up his quest for revenge, as if the killer is fully provoked, it could endanger Squad Chief Jang's family. Soo-hyun's colleagues also urge him to hand over Jang Kyung-chul to the police. During their conversation, they mention the tracking capsule. Soo-hyun quickly stops them, realizing that Jang Kyung-chul is lying on the bed in the next room. However, at that moment, Jang Kyung-chul has overheard their conversation. That afternoon, Jang Kyung-chul wakes up under a bridge. He heads straight to a pharmacy and starts searching for laxatives, using them to forcibly expel the tracking capsule. To prevent being tracked by Soo-hyun, Jang Kyung-chul targets a patrolling officer. After a brutal beating, he stuffs the tracking device into the officer's mouth, then drives off in the police car. When Soo-hyun arrives at the restroom, following the tracker's signal, he realizes that his plan has been exposed. Jang Kyung-chul picks up the phone from the car and contacts the chief of the Major Crimes Unit, claiming that he wants to turn himself in. Since South Korean law has no death penalty, as long as Jang Kyung-chul surrenders and hides in prison, Soo-hyun's revenge will be thwarted. But before he turns himself in, Jang Kyung-chul has one last thing to do. Enraged, Soo-hyun storms into the hospital and forces Tae-ju to reveal Jang Kyung-chul's whereabouts. However, Tae-ju not only refuses to cooperate but mocks Soo-hyun using Juian's death. Unable to hold back any longer, Soo-hyun erupts in anger and uses violence. After leaving the hospital, his colleague informs Soo-hyun about Jang Kyung-chul's plans to turn himself in. At this moment, the location of Jang Kyung-chul's phone points to his father-in-law's house. Soo-hyun quickly turns around and calls his father-in-law. Just as the elderly man is about to pick up the phone, a knock on the door from the delivery man interrupts him. Faced with the choice between the phone call and the delivery, the old man chooses the latter. Soo-hyun, now in a panic, calls the Major Crimes Unit for help. The unit rushes to his father-in-law's house. By the time they arrive, Jang Kyung-chul has already finished what he came to do. Calm and composed, he surveys the house and picks up a photo, asking about Juian's sister's whereabouts. During the assault, the doorbell rings unexpectedly. It's Juian's sister returning home. Jang Kyung-chul hides in the shadows, observing her. When Soo-hyun arrives, the house is already surrounded by police. His father-in-law was on the brink of death, and his sister had been assaulted. Just then, Jang Kyung-chul calls and demands that Soo-hyun pick up. He tells him he's going to the police station to turn himself in. Once he's in prison, Soo-hyun will have no way to get to him. Jang Kyung-chul arrives at the police station, raising his hands to surrender. Without hesitation, Soo-hyun reverses his car, smashing into the door before driving straight toward Jang Kyung-chul. Right in front of the police, Soo-hyun takes Jang Kyung-chul with him. He drives to Jang Kyung-chul's house. After a brutal session, Soo-hyun ties him under a guillotine. To make Jang Kyung-chul feel the fear of facing death, Soo-hyun devises a cruel method.
난 네가 가장 고통스러울 때 죽일 거야.
Ignoring Jang Kyung-chul's pleas, Soo-hyun ties one end of the rope to the guillotine and forces him to bite down on the other end. Then, he puts on headphones and walks away. At the same time, Jang Kyung-chul's parents and son arrive at the house. Jang Kyung-chul, terrified, fears someone will open the door. He grips the rope tightly. Hearing his son's voice, Jang Kyung-chul panics even more, but since he's biting the rope, his family doesn't understand what he's trying to say. When Soo-hyun learns that Jang Kyung-chul has been decapitated, he removes his headphones. At that moment, his vengeance is complete, and he cries like a child. After watching the movie, some viewers praised it as the best way to punish a devil, but others felt that the main character's violent revenge was too extreme, as the hatred consumed him, turning him into a devil himself. Follow me for more movie breakdowns.